Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elspeth, and today I'm kind of breaking my own mold and going off-brand to investigate someone of interest. I am going to do the portrait of MTG, otherwise known as Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm kind of curious to see, is she having a spiritual awakening, a mental break, a sneaky operation to run for president, and she's cutting her losses and scooping up the lost supporters of Trump. I don't know what's going on, but I found myself agreeing with her a lot lately, and that is very, very strange. And I think it's a turn for the good, no matter what the reason is. But yeah, she's been increasingly likable and agreeable, and she seems lucid and calm and natural and not sort of locked in anger and fear and resentment like she was before. So I'm kind of curious, and I usually just stay focused on people that are very self-aware and in the light, you could say, positive influences. But you know, when you put the X-ray goggles on, when you do a kind of reading, you really can see the good in everybody, even if it's shriveled up and it's small and not being utilized. You can see that life force in everyone. And so I'm going to do that with MTG today. I'm going to put on my goggles and look in to see, did you hear that? So there's someone knocking on the door, or someone nailing a painting to their wall. Anyway, let's get to it. I'll meet you on the page and let's start this portrait. All right, opening the call with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and this is actually the second attempt. So I had a little meditation before I started this video, and I got two basic images, two scenes. One was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why can't I just call her Marjorie? It's funny, you have to say her full name. She was peering through the brushes, or like bushland, and she was looking to see what was coming, like as if she was a hunter, disguised and sort of hiding amongst the foliage. And it was dead foliage. It was dried up. It was like as if there was a lot of weeds and brush and bushes that had dried up, and it was just sort of the skeletal stalks that remained, like around like a marshland sort of area. And yeah, so really kind of a flimsy thing to be hiding amongst, but she did kind of blend in because the bushes were sort of the same color as her hair, like dried grass kind of color, dried reeds. And she was peering through. All I could see were her eyes peering through, watching pensively to see what was coming, who was coming. Then the next scene that I saw was her with a very tall bottle of water, like a personal water bottle. And she had her head tilted back, and she was taking a long drink from this bottle of water. And she seemed very calm and composed, and it was almost like a self-soothing sort of action, taking a beat, in the way that someone would maybe smoke a cigarette. She was drinking from this large bottle of water, and she was like at work, so it felt like she was in Congress. And yeah, she felt very composed, but almost like if she was running a marathon and keeping herself hydrated. All right, I'm just gonna start rambling now with any insights I pick up as I start with her teeth here. Okay, so I do feel that she was on the defensive for a long time, in a very combative posture. This is something we know. This is not just, an insight. But I am feeling that the bottom fell out. And this feels like a tipping point because it doesn't feel like the first time. It feels like a compounded bottoming out. And it feels like it actually made her feel calm and poised and focused, and she is getting clarity. And it does feel lucid and real. But she's also not I got the word a pansy. Thank you. She is ambitious. I don't think that I don't feel that she is so strategically just trying to run for president. But I feel like she is, in real time, she's having a pivot. And she's feeling very woken up and energized, and is feeling energy. She's enjoying getting access into spaces that she wasn't invited to before. And she definitely is not going to turn and curry favor with Democrats. And even if she's speaking the exact same talking points, she is going to make it feels to her like she's inventing the wheel. It feels to her like she's having original thought. And she's feeling so cut off from imagining anything to do with, associating or promoting the Democratic Party, which she almost feels like they have departed the station and gone so far left that she feels like she can stop being so defensive and fighting for her grievances, defending her struggles. What's the phrase? Fighting for her limitations, because the more that the Democratic Party has kind of gone left, she feels like she can comfortably move into the center. She has a need to feel different and stand out. It's an attention deficit. So I want to say disorder, attention deficit disorder. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's the phrase that just came. Definitely feels like some parental neglect in her past, and what would have been more seen as like that was a different time. I still feel like it had some bearing weight on her that she personally could have done with some more focused attention, love and support, encouragement, and she negotiated her way forward and towards she's attracted to experiences that are confrontational and challenging because they have an energy to them. They activate her in a way that feels exhilarating. And it's really just there's something a little off kilter with her adrenal glands. The way that she metabolizes adrenaline feels like someone who's used to having like higher levels of sugar on a regular basis. It's sort of like she's immune to it and requires more of it. And the stimulus helps her feel alive. I feel a good connection with her children. I feel the presence of a daughter, and it's a meaningful connection, and a son. And I feel like she had to redefine herself and her life after the dissolution of her marriage, which was a very long, felt like a lifetime appointment. But in the wake of all that, she had to sort of burn it to the ground, burn her prior identity down and make drastic sort of moves. And I feel like there was a significant, feels like a slow motion big event that happened this year, a big shift. And she gave herself permission to feel differently and to act differently. And I feel like there's something, thanks to her, that she has, I feel that it could be financial, but I feel like there's some sort of sense of security that she has done for herself. And I feel like, please forgive me, but I'm certainly not interested in taking down anyone, but I know she said some absolutely wretched things in the past, but right now I'm focusing on her goodness. So here I go. I'm seeing things as her. So, you know, it's from her. I feel that she has given herself extra grace and compassion this year, and it's quite healing. And as she's allowed that for herself, she is a lot more appealing and less caustic and severe outwardly. She is quite funny. A lot of that stuff, like her ego has kind of not taken a beating, but has dissolved a bit, because there was something that she was like enmeshed in and felt like she had to define herself, and it feels like something to do with poverty, some aspect that she felt like she had to fight against to prove her worth. And now that she has a sense of stability that is allowing her to, well, she wants to go further. She wants to feel things. She has this drive for sort of the risky, something that feels risky, feels quite exciting and refreshing. And just another example of everyone should really be an artist and not meddle with the fate of everyone's lives. But she has sort of stepped into a little bit of popularity and a taste for what feels like winning, and it tastes good. And she can also feel that being like a volatile, like there's nothing to lose in being volatile, and that's something that she admires about Trump. And she still holds him in high regard and is taking a leaf out of his book. And it feels like it feels as if she was traveling at a good speed, and that she hit like traffic and roadwork and was stalled and was like redirected. I'm taking this to mean that yes, she was, the sort of the bids she was making to rise up in her career, in the party, they were not paying off, and she's sort of sick of waiting around, and she wants to take matters into her own hands. I don't feel that she's being totally dishonest and disingenuous. I feel that she's actually sort of wanting to do right by what she loves about Trump in the first place, which is what she is feeling in herself, which is a sort of go off script, rogue sort of figure, and shooting from the hip. There is sort of a swashbuckling cowboy sort of side to her. Well, sort of cowgirl. She is quite feminine, but in a brutal way. There's something quite like a brute about her. There's something kind of familiar about her to me. I feel like I grew up with seeing a lot of MTGs in my neck of the woods. And I think that we are seeing a change in real time, and she doesn't understand it as, it feels like an original thought to her. It feels like she is reinventing the wheel, but to her it feels like for the first time. And I think that the more she learns, I think she'd feel sort of appalled to feel associated with like feminism or any of the leftist sort of ideas, but she is having some sort of awakening that the more she heals herself, which I feel like she's doing, I feel like her relationship, her boyfriend, I don't know his name, but he's shall I just say a dickhead? He's a dickhead. He was very important for her in her, he was good to her, but I feel like something has shifted there as well. And she's just like got less and less to lose, really. She does. And I think that she sort of walked through some of the most challenging doors already that, personally in her life, that I feel like she feels sort of invincible. And so this sort of truth-telling, throwing truth bombs like hand grenades feels very exhilarating to her, and it's opening a lot of doors, and she's sort of riding the wave, and it feels good at the moment, and it feels like, her party's going down, and she certainly like, she's damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't. She's got nothing to lose except just to follow what feels good. And at the moment, she is getting a lot of attention so easily just for speaking her mind. And she feels quite relaxed about it. I do feel that she's getting some help with, I do feel that there's like beta blockers or antidepressants or something. It does feel like there's something that is helpful right now. And she was feeling unbalanced. And so, you know, it's not like a true wholesome sort of spiritual awakening and someone that's responsibly like self-aware and going through all these things, but I think that she is representative of many people, and she's doing it in the public eye. I don't think that she's necessarily trustworthy, but I think that she is having a very beautiful experience that's in public. She's allowing it. Something inside her is sort of, I don't feel like it's snapped or broken, but I feel like there is a truth to her that is soft, that is generous, that is genuine. And I think that she reserves that for her friends and for people that really get her. And I feel like, yeah, I know I'm repeating myself, but there's something that she has provided for herself that has enabled this platform to be bold and to strike out on her own. And she understands that if she is not supported, that she is the one that has her own back here. And it took feeling betrayed, and it took feeling underestimated and undermined, and she is getting pleasure where she can get it, and that's calling people out. And she feels like people in her party are fair game and safe. She was trying to call out people from other parties, but really just felt like it didn't really get her anywhere. People in her party sort of laughed at her, not really with her. It didn't really get her traction, but she's good at calling people out. So it's just that her gaze has shifted a little bit, and this feels more advantageous to be looking at her own party. And it feels like self-awareness. It's not really. But I think that without really meaning to, she's sort of like an anti-hero figure who's sort of doing the right thing despite herself, because it feels good. And she doesn't really have anything to lose, because her time was running out, her support was running out when she was, you know, battling for her own party. So at least she feels like she's useful and relevant and just keeping a door open for herself. You know, it feels like the rats are scrambling from the Titanic, and she might as well just drop these grenades because it feels fun and she's got nothing to lose. And good on her. You know, I think that humility comes in all forms, and she is being of service. She is being helpful. She is opening the door for other people to open their awareness and to admit other things that are not working. and to sort of have permission to sort of grow a heart, sort of grow a little bit of compassion. It feels like revolutionary and exotic, but that's where she is, and that is where a lot of people are. So how fantastic and lucky that we're able to see this arc in real time, and Godspeed, whatever it takes. You know, the first step to recovery is admitting there's a problem. These are the times that we're in. All right, my loves, I'm going to leave it at that. But just quickly first, I'm just going to darken her eyes just a little bit. This is my blessing to MTG. May she do no harm, no more harm to people. May she be more of an advocate for people, like the survivors of Epstein, and for the people losing their health insurance and SNAP benefits. If this is the messenger, then terrific. Whoever answers the call, let's go. I think this is yet another encouraging sign of things that are evolving. Good, wonderful. Thank you for watching this unusual episode. And I send you lots of love and health your way. All right, bye.